So when you're talking about breakout players in the bubble, you'd start with Michael Porter Jr. I just made a whole video on the guy, so I don't really want to go there. But we should at least acknowledge how good he's been. The next obvious one is TJ Warren before we get into a couple of more deep cuts. Is this the new TJ Warren? Some 20-plus point scorer who's shooting threes and all this? I don't know. I mean, he's certainly improved, and I believe he's like 27, so there's a chance that he's going to walk into next season averaging 25 a game. I mean, he's always been a scorer who just never had an outside shot, and now he's correcting that. But still with TJ, it's not like he shoots a crap ton of threes. I mean, he attempted 3 a game this season for Indiana. I feel like for this to truly be the new TJ, he would have to be attempting 6, 7 threes a game, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but maybe. He's certainly on fire, even if his last game was a little more normal. Anyway, now we get to a couple more ones that I was a little more excited to talk about because the media at large is not discussing them like that. The first one is Troy Brown Jr. of the Wizards, a guy who, you probably don't remember this, but way back I did a video in his draft talking about non-lottery picks who could be really good, and he was one of the guys I had. And I was like, I like his size, I like his handle, he's a good passer, I think he's got some potential to beat guys off the dribble. And I know that the Wizards have just simply needed someone to shoot the ball, and that's helping him out a little bit. But he's putting up some real numbers through his 5 games at the bubble, of which the Wizards are 0-5. He's putting up 17 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and like 1.5 turnovers. He's filling the stat sheet up. The rebounds aren't a huge shock because of his size. I'm not even too shocked about the passing either. I mean, that was the thing I was most excited about him with. He's shown some good composure in the pick and roll. He's not panicking. He's comfortable with using the screen or rejecting the screen if the defender is kind of blocking that side off. He's not picking up his dribble. He's showing some good chemistry with Thomas Bryant, whether it's a roll or a pop. Bryant's been shooting some threes in the bubble, which I think is potentially something. And he's also just finding guys in transition. He's had some nice bounce passes. Yeah, I'm excited with what he's been doing so far. He has taken maybe a few too many floaters. His overall shooting percentages are not awesome. I'm not as concerned about that because he went from not playing to being pretty intriguing here. So I'm not going to worry about the shooting just yet, even if that is something that he is probably going to have to improve on. But he has had some good finishing nonetheless. He's shooting like 3 free throws a game, which is cool. I think for him to be at his absolute best, whatever that may be, years from now, he's probably going to have to shoot a lot of free throws. But I don't want to get ahead of myself too much. Troy Brown Jr. has looked good for the Wizards, and that is nice. The next one, San Antonio Spurs, who have a few guys that you could put here. I'm going to go with Derrick White, who is averaging 22 a game. He's shooting 45% on 8 3-point attempts a game, and he's also shooting 6 free throws a game. So he's scoring, and he's doing it in pretty much the most efficient way he possibly could. Not wasting his time with too many 2-pointers. He's mainly attacking the rim, shooting threes. His playmaking has been intriguing as well, but I mainly just want to focus on the scoring. So White had kind of a weird season because I feel like we were all ready for him to take off, and then he just kind of didn't. He wasn't shooting a lot of threes. It was weird. But he's doing it now. He's really good at getting a good look from 3. Whether it's he has the ball himself and he uses a screen and then he pulls up, or he has a bit of an off-ball set, or it's a handoff play or something. He goes up with it really quickly. It seems like we could have another guy in the Devontae Graham, Kemba Walker levels of pull-up 3-point shooting. I mean, I don't know if he's like Dame or anything. That's a whole different level, but he looks good so far, man. The other thing with White, too, is he's really good at drawing contact. I don't know if he's a great ball handler, but he hasn't really needed it so far. He's very good at getting to his spot, whether it's just using a simple screen or a burst of speed after slowing down for a second, or like a fake spin or a half spin, whatever you'd want to call it. it's not the most flashy way of getting by defenders, but he manages to do it, and he's pretty fearless going to the basket. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's not afraid of drawing contact. And I mean, we look at some of the free throw numbers, like against the Grizzlies, he shot 8 free throws. Against the Nuggets, he shot 8. I mean, the least amount of free throws that he's shot in a game so far has been 5 against the Jazz. So that's the formula, man. I mean, threes, free throws, that'll do it. And hopefully we can see him become the go-to guy for San Antonio next season. I mean, hopefully he doesn't have another weird year where we can all see what's about to happen and then it just doesn't. And I'm pretty sure he's extension eligible this offseason, so that'll be interesting as well. Next up, we have Gary Trent of the Blazers, Gary Trent Jr. to be exact. He's living my dream, which is he's only shooting threes. He attempts 12 shots a game, and 9 of them are threes in the bubble. And he's shooting 62% from outside. He's not going to maintain that. Well, he could for the bubble because it's a small sample, but over the span of a season next year, he will not do that. But this has to be exciting because he looks so comfortable and confident out there. He does not look overwhelmed at all. He was even having some trash talk with Paul George today. Like, he looks not just ready for the moment, it looks like he's really enjoying the pressure of every single shot that I attempt for this Blazers team is a big shot. And he was always a scorer coming into the NBA. There were fears about, I don't even remember what they were, but there were fears about something with him. But everybody said, yeah, this guy can put up points. And that could be big for a Blazers team that, has usually been pretty conservative in the offseason. They don't like to shake the boat too much, which I've criticized them for every opportunity I get. They've actually got cap space this offseason, so we'll have to see what they do there. But in terms of adding talent on the wing, which I think they really need to do, even if Melo is having a moment right now, Gary Trent Jr. could be one of those guys. Now, I don't know about his potential creating offense, but he can certainly make some shots, and that's valuable nonetheless. Next, we go to the Grizzlies, Grayson Allen, who up to this point, you didn't really know if he could be an NBA player. But he's having some games. I mean, 6 for 8 from 3 against the Jazz, 5 for 6 against the Pelicans. Even his 3 for 8 from outside against OKC. I mean, that type of a game is more in line with what Grayson Allen is as a player, in my opinion, just like a rotation 3-point guy. But even that is a big jump from what he was looking like before this, which was basically nothing because he couldn't get on the court. Although I should be a little nice because he did have an injury. I think he hurt his hip, was it, back in February, so maybe we would have seen this anyway, but we're definitely seeing it now, and this could be intriguing moving forward. I think the Grizzlies still need rotation guys. They need creators. I mean, the loss of Tyus Jones is a big deal for them, but in terms of getting some more shooting, I think Grayson Allen could be a piece for him. A couple more. One is Mikal Bridges of Phoenix, who is not lighting it up offensively, although he's been fine. Mainly it's his defense. He slowed down TJ Warren a lot. And the other thing with Mikal Bridges, too, it seems like Phoenix has finally really embraced him. He's playing a lot of minutes for them. And I think that's a big deal because I don't think he was really playing like that up to this point in his career. I mean, he was in the high 20s, but it seems like they're fully embracing what he gives them, which is just being that 3-and-D guy. You put him on the number 1 option on the opposing team. He uses his alien arms to slow him down, and hopefully he makes a couple open threes, And the final one would be LuolCabarro of the Nets, who has had a couple of 20-point games. He's also had a couple of block games. That's why I kind of threw him at the end here. It could be something. I mean, he's bounced around the league a couple times. I think his potential is really the thing keeping him going. I don't think it's his immediate impact for you because, 6'7", 210, shown potential as a shooter. Like, you're going to give that type of guy as many chances as possible. But even then, we don't know how many chances he really has left. But it's been happening for him a little bit in the bubble, so could be a thing. So that'll do it for the breakout players in the bubble. A quick little thing, which I don't typically do, but I'll just do it maybe occasionally, try to be a better YouTuber or whatever. a decent amount of the people who watch my videos are not actually subscribed, which that happens to me as well, because I just go down the recommended thing a lot of the time. So if you're not subscribed and you've been watching, and you could just consider pressing that button, I would appreciate it. I feel gross saying this, but I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys, as always, and that's it.